Hello, Giants fans, and welcome to a new edition of the Valentine's Views podcast here on Big Blue View Radio. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, and subscribe wherever you're listening to podcasts if you're listening to us that way. So, Giants fans, the other day we had a conversation with Big Blue View contributor Rivka Board, trying to give you guys a chance to get to know a couple of the Big Blue View contributors who aren't usually on the podcast here. Had a nice chat with Rivka, and today I'm joined by Jeremy Portnoy, one of the other Big Blue View contributors. Jeremy, thank you very, very much for hopping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, so I forget now. How long have you even have you been contributing for me?
It's been, I think, 2 years. It was actually, yeah, it was right around July 4th I started. So right around now is like my 2-year anniversary.
2 years, 2 years, and this is the first time I've had you on the show. I mean, I apologize for that. That's on me. I should have done this a long time ago.
You've been hiding this beautiful face this whole time.
We're gonna go there already. We're gonna go there. Compared to this crop of non-existent hair that remains on my head. There was a time. There was a time when I was your age and I had hair. But anyway, you are a student at Stony Brook, and you graduate in December. Just tell folks a little bit about Stony Brook, a little bit about what you're studying there, and what you've been doing there.
Yeah, so we're a public school on Long Island, New York. I'm going into my senior year there. And so I started in 2020, which was like peak COVID. So it's been kind of a weird ride there. Some normal parts, some not so normal. But I'm an English major there, journalism minor, work with the student newspaper, dorm there. Yeah, it's a good place to be.
And what's your role been with I believe the newspaper's called the Statesman at Stony Brook, and what has your role been there?
Yeah, so I started out there as a sports writer, and then I got promoted. I was the assistant sports editor for about a year and a half there. And then starting last year, I was the editor in chief, running the whole thing. And I've been doing that. I'll be going into my second year now.
Nice. And so you have one semester left at Stony Brook, I believe, and I will make sure that we ride you hard and give you no time to study and no time to get your work done.
Trust me, I'd rather be doing this than studying, so that's fine.
Oh, there you go. Just to make it harder on you, we'll do that. So, it's kind of a sidetrack here, but considering what happened at Northwestern this week with the firing of Pat Fitzgerald, which was sort of led by the student newspaper at Northwestern, that's kind of a big deal for student newspapers and for young aspiring journalists. I mean, did it get your attention?
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, you'd be surprised. People don't realize. I mean, our newspaper, a lot of other newspapers around the country, we break big stories. It's bigger than you would realize sometimes. But yeah, I mean, definitely hats off to them. And yeah, there's tons of great student journalists doing amazing work. I'm always hearing.
So I'm also curious. You said English major, journalism minor. You've been doing this for us. What's your goal? Where do you see yourself ending up?
So I've still kind of deciding. I originally was just going down the journalism track. I thought that was definitely what I wanted to do. And I do really enjoy it. I could see myself ending up there, but I'm also finding I'm starting to like editing just as much as I like writing. And I'm thinking I might want to transition more into like the publishing, editing field, getting to work with literature a little more. So I'll see where things end up. I mean, it's also going to depend where the jobs are. But
Nice.
I'm really just passionate about like I want to be putting words on paper. That's what I want to be doing.
There you go. And there's a lot more to the business than actually just being the person who puts those words on paper. There's a lot more
Right.
to it that makes it happen. So that's cool. And so we hope whatever path you take, we hope that works, and we hope you'll stick with us as long as possible. So, I always get a kick out of, we've had several contributors over the years: Dan Pizzuta, Emily Iannacone, Connor Hughes, who's now at SNY, was here for a while. So we've had several folks come through and move on. Joe De Leon, who's now at the Believe Network, is another one. And I always get a kick out of that. I always hope that we had something to do with helping guys get a foothold and build a foundation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I remember when I started here, I was just starting out. I remember I sent you an email. I was like, "Hey, any chance you're looking for people?" And yeah, got a big start here. That has led to a lot more things so far.
I get a lot of those. Hey, I'm a Giants fan. Can I write for you? And I'm like, have you got any writing training? Do you know anything about being a journalist? Do you know anything about, not being a fan who just rants and raves like a crazy person? So because that I don't need.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
always try to run this site. It is technically a fan site, Big Blue View, but I always try to run this site like a mainstream, professional organization, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that's one of the reasons that we've had success, and one of the reasons why I get resumes from folks like you.
Yeah, yeah. It started out at some smaller blogs covering the Giants. Yeah, a lot of sports experience from the student newspaper, and yeah, I was able to turn it into this, and it's been great so far.
So let's talk about the Giants. Were you a Giants fan growing up?
Yeah, always. My earliest sports memory is the 2008 NFC Championship game. I would have been about 5.5 then. The Giants Packers game is like probably the first time I can remember watching football. And then yeah, I still have some pretty clear memories of the Super Bowl a few weeks later of them beating the Patriots and just like going nuts in my basement with my family.
Well, that was a nice time to become a Giants fan.
It was. I
And
got spoiled though. It's like 2 Super Bowls when I was young, and then like I was just like expecting them to keep winning every year.
yeah, Giants fans did get spoiled, and what I always say is, in the Super Bowl era, I think there's only 4 teams that have more Super Bowl titles than the Giants. And even though it's been tough, there's been some weird stretches, like during the 90s, early 2000s, and this current stretch. I still think a lot of fan bases would trade places with Giants fans, considering those 4 Super Bowls. You feel the same way?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be a lot worse. I mean, I got those memories from when I was younger, and I mean, things seem like they're hopefully starting to turn around now. So yeah, I mean, a championship is everything, though. You'd rather have that than just like a lot of pretty good seasons.
Yeah, I think I was asked that the other day in a mailbag, and it's nice to compete every year, but those championships are the things that you remember. And it's really nice as a Giants fan, as a Giants writer, that when they get it right, they really get it right. I mean, I guess the comparison is, right now, would you rather be a Giants fan and have those 4 titles, or would you rather be a Buffalo Bills fan right now who watches a good team every year, but watches a team that hasn't been able to get over that hump and the Kansas City Chiefs, and now the Cincinnati Bengals, and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it both ways. I mean, there were even, before I was covering the Giants, there were seasons I would kind of be like checked out by the end of the season when it was just obvious they weren't going to make the playoffs. So, I mean, it's nice to at least be invested all the way through. But like, yeah, I have a friend who's like a diehard Saints fan, and like I mean, they had that one Super Bowl, but it was like so many years of like losing in the divisional round in the championship game. And I just remember him being like so frustrated every year. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, you really just want to be able to see those Super Bowls.
Yeah, it makes it. I guess some of the dry spells though makes it even sweeter when you do get those Super Bowls. It's been a while now for the Giants, and it would be nice to see them put themselves in position to get back there.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a good team this year. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes, but hopefully sooner rather than later they'll be contending.
Yeah, how do you feel about this team? About where Brian Dable and Joe Shane have this team headed?
I mean, I'm not expecting them to really be Super Bowl contenders this year. I think we're still a few pieces away, but I think they could be sometime within the next few years, hopefully contending. I do think Daniel Jones is the real deal. I was glad about that contract, and yeah, I mean, I think there's still more work to be done at wide receiver and some pieces on the defense, but I think they could contend for a playoff spot again this year.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, the schedule, mostly because of the rest issues and some of the travel issues that the Giants have. The schedule isn't doing them any favors. I tend to think 9 or 10 wins again, somewhere in that neighborhood. 9 wins again is probably a really good season.
Yeah,
People may not look at it that way and may not be satisfied with that, but I think 9 wins, maybe 10, is a really good year.
yeah. I mean, especially compared to what it's been, that would definitely be a good year for them. I think a lot of it's just going to come down to those close games again. I mean, I think Tony Del Genio just did an article for us about like what are the Giants lucky, and talking about if winning those close games is really sustainable. So I think a lot of it's going to come down to, are they really a team that can hang in there, or did it just happen to be coincidence that they were winning those close games last year?
I think those things tend to run in cycles, and I tend to think that that's also one of the reasons why the Giants put so much emphasis during the offseason on finding explosive playmakers, on finding players that might make it a little easier on them. Because it's hard to win those close games all the time, and it's hard to score and win when you have to grind out long drives. So I don't know, are you optimistic about the changes the Giants made this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, if Darren Waller stays healthy, I really do think that's going to be a big change. I know there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, it might be too much hype around him, and it might not make that much of a difference." But I do think that is something that could really transform their offense if he can stay healthy through the year. I mean, when you look at their playmakers from last year, it was really only Darius Slayton who could make those big catches. I don't think they had anyone else on the team with more than 3 catches of over 20 yards, and Slayton had like 12 or something. He was really the only deep threat, and even he wasn't totally reliable. So they really need someone that can stretch the field like that.
No, Slayton. I love Slayton's attitude. I love the fact that he's a stand-up guy who's helpful to the media. He's a good guy. I just wish he could catch the ball a little more consistently.
I know. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, he was a 5th-round pick, so for him to be leading the team in receiving yards, but I
Oh,
mean,
oh,
it's a
he's
lot
been
more than you'd expect from a 5th-rounder. I think
absolutely.
maybe you get
He's
too much
been
credit to him just because he's been thrust in this position as the number one wideout.
yeah, he's been immense value for a 5th-round pick, all things considered. So let me ask you this. Growing up, you said you really started following the Giants around that 2007, Super Bowl era, Super Bowl run. Um, Favorite Giants players growing up?
That's tough. When I was really little, it was Jeremy Shockey just because of the name. I thought it was like so
Oh,
cool. We have a Jeremy on the Giants.
oh, well, I'll give you the first name, but Jeremy Shockey, maybe for a year or two until we found out that he was a complete weirdo lunatic,
Yeah,
but
well, I didn't know at the time. But yeah, during that Super Bowl run, he was my favorite. I remember. Yeah, I still remember my parents taking me to the football card shop to get Jeremy Shockey's rookie card.
oh God, you still have it?
Yeah, in a case.
Oh man, you collect
I
cards?
doubt it. Yeah, not as much anymore, but as a teenager, I was really into it. Yeah, I would go to all the
Football
football card
cards?
conventions, stuff like that.
Oh, cool. Cool. I used to have in the attic of my parents' house I used to have a collection of baseball cards, which I still remember exactly how many cards were in that collection. There were it's a really interesting number because it's baseball cards, and it was 714 baseball cards that I had in my parents' attic. I came home from college, went up in the attic to see if to check out the card collection, and it was gone. Long gone. I I have never been able to get my mother or my brother to admit that either A, my mother threw them out, or B, my brother took them. I've never been able I've never been able to uncover the mystery to that one, but my collection of 714 baseball cards was long gone. So
Nice.
that's my card collecting story from when I was a kid. So so you have anything that's really valuable? It's going to make you a millionaire and make you just buy an island someday and not have to work.
I don't know about millionaire. It depends. Sometimes you strike it lucky. I remember when Patrick Mahomes during his rookie year, when no one knew how good he was going to be, I bought up a few cards of his for maybe like 10, 15 each, and ended up flipping them for like a few hundred each. That was like my big speculating football card success story.
There you
Uh,
go.
but yeah, other than that, probably nothing too crazy valuable. But
No,
I've got some Giants autographs in there, stuff like that.
nice stuff that cards that you had autographed or
Yeah, both. I got autographs in person, and some just buying them like that. Yeah, I
nice.
remember going and yeah, buying like Michael Strahan autographs, stuff like that when I was really into it.
Nice, nice. I'm not home right now. I'm at our summer camp, but I've got just memorabilia wise. I don't collect a lot of stuff, but over the years, I somebody sent me a signed Michael Strahan football and from an interview that I did with Tom Coughlin one time, they sent me a signed Tom Coughlin football, which is probably the most I've got in terms of Giants memorabilia.
That's pretty cool.
You have anything interesting other than the cards?
Mostly just cards. Yeah, those.
Yeah,
That's what I always got signed. Yeah, I
yeah.
remember a while ago I sent Eli Manning had like a fan mail address. I sent him a card to like sign. He actually sent back to me autographed. I was pretty surprised.
No,
Uh,
I'm not surprised at all by that. You know, having been around Eli a little bit, and I don't claim to know Eli personally, but I've been around him. I've been in a lot of interviews with him. A few years back, uh, he was while he was still playing, he was doing a summer camp for kids around this time of year, and I got an invite from the folks running this camp, to come and attend and talk to Eli. And I'm in upstate New York. That camp was in New Jersey. That wasn't going to happen. But
mhm.
I requested one-on-one phone time with Eli, thinking there's no chance I'm ever going to get this, because every time you request this from an athlete, they say, "Oh no, no way. No way. He's not giving anybody phone time. If you want to talk to him, you've got to be here." Eli gave me as much time as I wanted one-on-one on the phone, and I always remember that, because that's just the kind of person that he always is.
Yeah,
He's
yeah. I mean, you never know with some of these guys whether their real personality kind of matches their media personality. But yeah, he's always seemed like a stand-up guy.
Yeah, that's always, and I think that was one of the reasons why he succeeded in New York, was because he was pretty genuine, and he treated people well, and he made sure that the only headlines he made were on the field.
Yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, Jeremy, I appreciate your spending some time with me, and letting the Big Blue View readers, listeners, get a chance to know you a little bit better. And best of luck in your final semester, and hopefully we'll get you back on the show here again. Sometime before 2 more years go by.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, good to get out behind the writing desk for a bit.
Yeah, hey, just let folks know if they don't already know where they can find you on Twitter and all that.
Yeah, it's just my name. I'm at Jeremy Portnoy on Twitter. You can go follow me there.
You on Threads yet?
No, I haven't tried it. Have you?
No. I signed up, but I think I've had one post. I signed up just to get that, just to check that off. I haven't signed up. I haven't signed up our website yet either, but we'll figure that out down the road. But anyway, thank you much for the time, and I gotta come up with some plans to keep you busy here in the fall so that you can skip the homework.
Okay, I'd love that.
All right. All right. Take care. Giants fans, thank you as always for listening. Please remember to stay safe out there, take care of each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.